The Key of Mazloth, Lore of the Maze of Spheres by Iris B. Fade. The 10 spheres are Sephiroth and the radix of knowledge and Da. In Hermetics, there are 10 general spheres of reflection that the Ein Sof or primal light of creation can manifest through. These are derived from the Kabbalistic Sephiroth. As regards the Minutum Mundum of the manifest material universe, the Sephiroth are arrayed in relation to the body, with Kether being the region of the Atman or divine template of self above the crown chakra of the head. This is only thus because on Earth creatures are oriented to lead their consciousness with their head in various ways and thus receive higher psychic signals from that sphere of their aura. The same spheres are arranged differently in different beings. Being the Sphere of Neptune and the guiding star of Gaia, Kether is where all things in the universe are first conceived and mapped out. It is thus the first knowledge or gateway to the astral realm of Yetzirah, above us, and is in fact a cosmic doorway through which consciousness sends and receives information to and from the collective consciousness. This makes it to the Akashic interface for the Book of Life and the psychic access point for one's higher guardian angel. The guardian angel is actually a profound psychic buildup of accumulated personal wisdom that generates a growing egregore for one's future astral journey beyond this life. Thus is Kether in Asaya. It is the stereotypic patronus or spirit guide. Herein is Eden or the universe in its purest reflection on this plane. Hokmah is the sphere of Uranus and the guiding star of the moon. Its ruling principle in the orientation and segmentation of space is into patterns and forms. It thus takes the incomprehensible luster of Kether and parses it down into bits and pieces the fetal organisms of matter can comprehend. Ruling the left shoulder area of an organism of the human, it is the aggregate of all mortal thoughts and the guide upon which all emotions and perceptions are gauged. It is the stereotypical animus or governing judge of logical perception the left brain manifests thoughts through. Herein is the sundering of space and time into a system, or math. Bina is the sphere of Saturn and the guiding star of Mercury, in which it is the aggregate oriented to the right shoulder area of humans, which reigns over the formation of creative notions into meaning. It is thus the personal interpretation of all thoughts, where an identity and sense of belief is founded on instinct. This is the stereotypical anima, or sensitive guide of personal belief systems, your values. Herein is the developmental view and concept out of raw perception. Thus is the supernal triangle of the Minutum Mundum, which dwells pre-conscious to the eye in Da, of which we shall lastly speak. It rules the third eye or thalamus, the spiritual buildup of individual consciousness, the router. Hesed is the sphere of Jupiter and the guiding star of Venus. It dwells in the upper middle left-hand side of the human aura. In it are all reflections on ideal self-expression and perception of how life should be if properly placed and ordinately presented. It is yin action and the stereotypical receptive side of the body that acts on what is consciously received. Those proficient in its use excel at reacting quickly and gracefully to life stimuli without as much focused conscious effort and without seeming to act at all. It thus embodies one's lucky hand in life as opposed to manifest destiny, and thus is passive, intelligent action. Gebura is the sphere of Mars and the guiding star of the Sun. It dwells on the middle right-hand side of the aura. This is the power to shape destiny in the yang sense of willfully acting on the world. Those proficient in its use are skilled at turning obstacles into prizes, as it is the stereotypical warrior aspect of consciousness in the body and excels at goal-directed behavior against challenging obstacles. It thus is the might of successful conquest over material obstacles and represents one's physical willpower. Tifereth is the sphere of the Sun and the guiding star of Mars, dwelling just above the belly and in the vortex of the lower chest. In it is the formation of visceral powers to transform and purify emotions into meaningful life processes below. It is the brain space of the living body, known as the Rush, and it is the supreme master of all locomotive operations and electrochemical events in the aura, being the playground of the entire spinal column and the organs it rules. Tifereth thus rules mortal well-being and longevity of incarnation, and it is a crossing point between flesh and soul of any living being. Nitzak is the sphere of Venus and the guiding star of Jupiter. It reigns in the lower left region of the aura near the kidneys and is the yin purifier of nutrition and health. It rules all processes seeking the acquisition of material nutrients and sustenance and the body's treasure trove of knowledge on where to obtain such vegetative virtues and wisdoms in one's surrounding. It is thus vital for learning to receive sustenance and life force. Hod is the sphere of Mercury and the guiding star of Saturn. Located in the lower right aura of the kidneys, it represents the utility of nutrients to form organic cell structures in an effective and efficient fashion and shape them metabolically for the important purposes. It is thus the forge of the aura, which properly shapes organic function in a well-ordered fashion, storing therein those keys. Below the erotic Quesheth bow of the constellated reproductive system lies Yesod, near the base of the spine, where is the sphere of the moon and the guiding star of Uranus. It is to matter what doth is to the psyche, in that it is the womb of an organism, whether of whatsoever gender, that distilled life force and projects it into life substance on a physical level. Thus its conjunction makes real all flesh according to its kind, after the fashion of the spheres, and ejects it thereby in Malkuth. Malkuth is the sphere of Gaia and the guiding star of Neptune, the manifestation thereof. Hereupon is a screen centered in the ground and encompassing the whole minute mundum in a reflective projector screen upon which consciousness plays out its psychodrama like a massive streaming virtual playground made real. Malkuth is empty of all things save but what is reflected into it, and of course beyond it are only the clip-off, through which waste is eliminated and sealed off in other physical spheres not desired by the organism, yet by error and karma still accessible thereby. Malkuth is the course of reigning power over the whole material matrix of consciousness, manifest, and has the virtue of providing feedback and future inspiration to Kether for its greater purpose of self-enlightened evolution of life. Without Malkuth, Kether would have no solid feedback mechanism and would remain an eternal dream not begotten. Finally, concerning Thoth, which is the Key of Mazloth, it is the sphere of the galactic center and the guiding star Pluto. Located between the center of the heart chakra and focused in the third eye, it is the developing psyche in the circuit board of the brain. The reason it is the incomplete Sephiroth is because you, the conscious being in it, are not fully consciously developed. You are a psychic embryo. When you die, you will link this sphere and eject from the minute mundum into Yetzirah, or the astral plane. At this point, your development will continue on that tier of existence. This is the Key of Mazloth, the evolution of conscious living organisms throughout space and time on the physical plane. The galactic center represents the infinite spiral of evolutionary possibility, and Pluto represents the terminal condition into which that potential currently manifests. Thus behold the Key of Mazloth, your conscious evolution as a living enlightened soul. Much love, Fade, the Wizard of Arcane Lore.